And we are live. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another edition of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. My name is John. I'm the co-owner of Nuclear Golf and TW Legion, joined tonight by Joey from Scheffler Fans, Ryan from JT Legion, and Hutch Bennett, one of our Nuclear Golf ambassadors and regular podcast hosts on this show. Got a ton to get into tonight, fellas. Obviously, Chris Gotterup fired a final round 64 yesterday to win the Sony Open, his third career win. Shane Lowry really stumbled in the closing stages to lose out in the Dubai Invitational. We've also got some new quotes from Patrick Reed discussing a potential return to the PGA Tour. Since we last had our show, Cam Smith, John Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau all have opted to stay at Live Golf. Bryson's got a rumored $500 million contract demand. That's according to the Daily Telegraph, so we'll get into that. And Rory McIlroy has dished on Brooks Koepka's return, as well as the future of Liv. Wyndham Clark doesn't seem thrilled that Brooks is returning to the tour. Vijay Singh had a week, finishing T40 out in Hawaii, 62 years old. Finished the week at 5 under par. Greg Norman says he's loyal to the PGA Tour. So there's a lot to get into tonight. It's probably like 8 other topics we could dive into as well if it comes down to it. So let's just get right into it, maybe, fellas, and start with Chris Gotterup's win over the weekend. Ryan, did you have a chance to watch any of that at the end yesterday?
I didn't get to see the end. I was busy yesterday, but I saw a lot of the highlights afterwards. That dude's a stud. I will say that it was I think it was Saturday. I saw Chris top 2 balls, and that was like, he might have something going on with his swing. So that was a little odd to see a dude top 2 balls like that, and it was 2 in a row too. I mean, essentially it was a top. One with a driver and then one with an iron out of the rough. But I didn't get to see him. But I got to see the highlights at the end. And I mean, that dude, I think we all kind of agree he's going to be a stud probably in the coming years. And I think some of us, retrospectively are looking in the mirror thinking like, what he would have done at Bethpage as well. So, good on him for winning, man. I mean, it's third win, right?
Third win in his 69th start. It's a really quick start to his career. And like you mentioned, Ryan, didn't get chosen by Captain Keegan Bradley for the Ryder Cup, which not everyone was happy with that decision, right? Hutch, what do you think of Gotterup's start to his career, third win?
I mean, to Ryan's point about topping it, I think it's just a super stinger is what I'd call it. I think he's just the new stinger god. He's taken the throne from Tiger for a little bit since he's not out here. No, I mean, he's one of those young up and coming guys, right? Like, and I'm with you. I think we should have seen him at Bethpage. It would have been really cool. I remember us talking about him potentially being on the team at Bethpage because he was in pretty good form. Didn't he win the Genesis, the Scottish? Genesis Scottish? Yeah. I mean, so he had been playing well. We thought he, was deserving of at least some heavy consideration. So it would have been cool to see him, but I think he's got a bright future of many Ryder Cup, President's Cups teams in the future. The power too. God, the power. He's just powerful.
Dude, it is disgusting watching him swing. He rips the ball. And I like him. It's not because he's the Scotty Scheffler twin. It's just I don't know. I could see him having a very Ben Griffin-esque season. I think it's obviously the hottest start you can get. In terms of Bethpage, like, it's a grass is always greener kind of situation. I think it could have been really easy for him to get selected, and then we're sitting here nitpicking. I mean, other than the singles matches, we would have been sitting here saying it was irrelevant. You could have, picked Prime Tiger and would have still, based on how everything else played out, wouldn't work. So, but yeah, good for him. Got one on the board early. I know Davis Riley was in contention and kind of had the horse by the reins. And then I think he went like 4 over in 3 holes and just kind of wasn't able to muster it back up. Patrick Rogers missed. Dude, it was crazy. I watched it live, but then I saw it was Golf Channel or PGA Tour posted them all together. And I think he missed like 6 or 7 putts by a matter of maybe 1.5 foot combined. I mean, he was literally rolling it right on the edge. So, I mean, Patrick Rogers easily could have won, but shout out Chris Goddard for getting in there like a dog. And I hope he rattles a few off the season. I'm fired up.
All right. Patrick Reed, not sure if you guys had a chance to see some big quotes out this morning. with today's golfer. He said he called the PGA Tour the best in the world and said he'd be open to returning. He said, quote, I mean, of course, if we're up to me, I'd play everywhere. I'm already playing on 3 tours. Why not add one more? I always enjoyed my time out there on the PGA Tour. Let's be honest, it's the best tour in the world. Look at what they've done in golf. I could see myself playing there at some point again, but right now you just never know. Everything's so fluid. And he was asked about the tour, PGA Tour's returning member program, the one that afforded Brooks Koepka the opportunity to return. He said, right now, it's not even a decision. That was for the 2022 and on winners. So I definitely would have to think about it if that number came down to 2018, referring to his 2018 Masters victory, I believe. Right now, it's hard to say really what we're going to do or anything like that. Right now, the biggest thing is trying to play some good golf these 2 weeks, not only to solidify myself out here on the DP, but to have a good momentum going into the year. So that's quite an answer from Patrick Reed. It sounds like he would be running back to the PGA Tour based on those quotes. I don't know if that means playing LIV and the PGA Tour. Seems like Patrick Reed's intensified his schedule since he left for LIV when he said that he wanted to spend more time with the family. You guys recall that video that was put out with his family. Ryan, what's your reaction to Patrick Reed? Is this a guy that you're welcoming back to the PGA Tour? Are you excited for him to return? Or is this a guy that you think the PGA Tour is not exactly jumping up and down for to have back?
I mean, I don't know anybody on the PGA Tour that is looking to get the stud Mr. Captain America back on the tour after all of the things that have gone on in the background with him. I personally don't need Patrick Reed on my TV anywhere, no matter where I'm watching it. My opinion's well known around around these parts. I I don't understand. I mean, there's been so many quotes here. I'm sure we're gonna get into some of them, but like this like praising of the PGA Tour by the guys who were just kind of like shitting on it, and whether it's litigation or whatever it was, it's like I kind of don't understand the pivot right this minute. I think it's like a save face. I think maybe Hutch has probably a better opinion of maybe why he's saying some of these things.
No, I don't like Patrick Reed either. I mean, let's be honest about it. Like, he's just he's so self-centered to me. It just feels like another thing where he can be like, look at me, here's me in the news. Like, it's almost surprising to me that he didn't try to frame it like, oh, they wronged me directly because they didn't include me in their pathway back program, like my major win wasn't good enough or whatever. But the reality is, nobody wants him back on the PGA Tour. Nobody's really missed that he's gone. I almost even really forget that he's even on LIV, right? Like, he's just kind of there. He just kind of exists, and the only time you hear about him is when he's either talking about himself or he gets caught in some kind of rules infraction, is what it feels like to me. You're not really hearing about him winning.
I also feel like he's... Go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say I said it in one of our chats. I thoroughly thought he would come up with some kind of litigation against the tour for making this rule that didn't include him. Like, I just assumed that was happening.
The only thing I would add about Patrick Reed is he is a 9-time PGA Tour winner, and he is a major champion. He won the Masters. So, I mean, anytime you can get a guy like that playing on your tour, I don't think it's a bad thing. Not like part of the Patrick Reed fan club or anything like that, but that's just the point I'm making. He's won on the PGA Tour a lot of times, and that, you could argue that adds value to the field. But I get what you guys are saying. Like, he's not exactly maybe a fan favorite out there.
No. But he's he's had team success too. He's been a bright spot on some pretty shitty Ryder Cup teams and certainly on President's Cup teams or whatever, but that's all right.
Well,
if we're talking about the fan experience that Brian Rolap talks about, like about the reason that they kind of, came up with this plan for these guys to come back, Patrick Reed coming back is not part of the fan experience. Like, I don't think that those two messages can be put in the same sentence.
I don't think they're itching for it to be Patrick Reed, but I also don't think strategically the PGA Tour is obviously looking to make light of anything. So maybe they just frame it off these players sounding like they want to come back, but also to steal another player from Live, I don't think the PGA Tour is, again, Patrick Reed's definitely not 1-1 on their list, but I could see them at least having Palmer because we're talking about him. Again, he knows how to kind of stay in the talks and be dramatic and stuff. So, I mean, if they're really trying to take a all eyes on us angle to it, I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't think they're really listening to him knocking down their door to get back to the tour.
Since our last show, fellas, there was some big developments. We were live last Monday, which is the day that the Brooks Koepka decision came down. The next day, on the Tuesday, we learned that Cam Smith, John Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau, three of the four guys that were eligible to return through the returning members pathway, have all elected to stay at Live Golf for the time being. We did get an interesting quote from Bryson the next day during that captain's press conference when he said, he was asked about the Brooks situation. He said, quote, "I'm contracted through 2026, so excited about this year." He didn't give a lot. You can tell that they're in the midst of the contract negotiations right now. And, he's got a lot of leverage. You could make the case. He also said via Front Office Sports, asked about YouTube, he said, "It's an incredibly viable option, I'll tell you that. Doing the course record series and playing break 50s, it does keep me quite dialed in for tournament golf." Not that any of us really expect that Bryson DeChambeau would ever just go the YouTube route, but he's able to play that card because he's got that audience, and he can make the case that that could be an option for him.
But
what did you guys make?
Right? If there was a guy, he's the one who's crazy enough to try it.
For sure.
I think he's the only one.
What did you guys make of those four guys, Smith, Rahm, and Bryson? Mind you, can't forget, Bryson was playing with the media when he posted that thing on Instagram saying that he had a decision to make. Do you guys remember that last week? Mm-hmm. Big decision to make, and he put a comment box, "What should I do?" or something. Just playing, right?
With the exit sign right there.
Yeah, with a fire alarm and exit sign. But what do you make of those three guys electing to stay? It's probably no surprise, right? Especially with Rahm, he's got some term left on his deal, and it probably would have costed him a lot. Would you say, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hinted at it last show. I know we thought some other people might take advantage of it, but I mean, the safe play right now is to say you're going to continue with Liv. Because, I mean, the way it's trending, obviously, things unravel very quickly. And the PGA Tour has the leverage. So I think some of these guys, while, again, the goal is to stay with Liv and keep the waters kind of smooth and maybe use some of that as leverage to get, negotiations and everything. At any given moment, if this Liv thing unravels, I don't think that their allegiance is necessarily to Liv versus the PGA Tour. That's just how it's aimed right now. But I mean, don't get me wrong. If this thing unravels and if a whole different discussion to be had, but like John Rahm, for example, I don't think he'd have any issue going back to the tour. I don't think that's what's holding him back. I think just for now, it's stay course. Let's not, disrupt the water too much. Also, I have no idea how much Liv is, breathing down their neck saying like, hey, we can't have two guys leave like this in a matter of a week. So for now, just do whatever we got to do to figure it out. And I don't know.
Well, that's my thing with those three. February 2nd is not here yet, right?
Right.
Theoretically, that window's still open, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is still open. I mean, these guys have gone public now saying they're not going anywhere. I would imagine that is kind of their decision. You never know. I mean, you never know.
I believe Rahm and Cam Smith, but when you hear the tone of Bryson's answer, I kind of just felt like he was still considering it.
I mean, he made the comment about being contracted through 2026. I mean, I guess it could go another way. You never know. The Daily Telegraph reported that he is seeking $500 million US. It's not known the length of that term, if that's a 2-year extension, 3, 4. We have no idea what that entails. We don't know if that's per year, for 4 years. Do you guys feel that that's like a low number? Should he be seeking more? How do you see the Bryson negotiation playing out? Because it seems like it's been going on for some time now, and they've obviously had a lack of progress. The fact that we're still talking about this.
I mean, I think I'm on record. I said last week I think he should ask for $1 billion, and then they could just work his way down. I mean, to be honest, because what leverage do they have? I don't know if you lose a Bryson, and again, you can get into the fact of like, well, how would he ever make up that amount of money on the tour? He wouldn't make up, obviously if he played well and they, but he still has the 5-year ban on if he would on the equity thing, so he wouldn't really be recouping all those dollars. I mean, I think that he's the only one that could ask for something like that, and I kind of don't see how that they tell him no. And I still don't think it saves the product necessarily of Live, because it's just one guy that you're paying all that money to. And again, we can go back into those other discussions. It's like, well, what are they doing to develop the product? How are they actually growing the game? Are they actually bringing in new people? I think a lot of this changes when the world golf ranking stuff, when those points get added.
I mean, it's the same discussion that we had, right? Like it's so hard to give like a fair critique or a fair analysis of what the product is going to be until they have the rankings points. Because at that point, like I remember saying last week, that you just got to hit on some of these young guys that they're signing, these top ranked amateurs that they're bringing out of colleges and foreign countries and whatnot. Like, just hit on a couple of those and see if one of them turns into Scotty Scheffler or Jordan Spieth or somebody who kind of transcends into the mainstream media or huge popularity. But you can't really get there without the world rankings points. Like, you got to have those. So once we get there, then we'll kind of see what the product can truly be. But that product doesn't exist in its best form without Bryson. So I'm with you that I think the billion's a reasonable starting point. Like, now you're going to come down from that, but he can ask for whatever he wants, because he may not make the product that much better, but the product probably doesn't exist without him.
True.
Again, I think it comes back to Bryson's one. He doesn't shock me as a guy that is going to necessarily like hardball Live and put them in this corner, and his team might advocate for that. But I think, and also Live will try to keep this very under the rug. I think it's publicly a very, very bad look to be basically just trying to throw whatever money, your top star is asking for to keep the league together. It's just not a good look. So I think $1 billion, obviously, 500 million. Like, I think it's not even a figure thing at this point. I think it's going to be a matter of Bryson's obviously got the leverage to be able to ask for a certain dollar figure. But again, it goes back to my point of last week that I think there's going to be some sort of restructuring as to what that money means, as to how it gets reallocated, and how Bryson is the face of Live, not just as a tour, but again, it's these extra entertainment events. And there's going to have to be some sort of branching out, because if you're going to go spend that money on Bryson, it can't just be to keep losing money year after year on tournaments. Like, that's not, then you're just blowing money to keep him around, to keep the product alive, but not growing.
And I think he's one of those who probably wants a pretty firm say in the direction of the future of the tour, right? Like,
yeah, that's been reported. That's been reported that he's not getting that currently. And in the future, he's saying that's one of the things that needs to change. He wants to be involved in the strategic direction of Live. Fellas, before we go any farther, a little bit of breaking news from Phil Mickelson's High Flyers GC. They're teasing a new player announcement tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I'm not sure if you guys have any idea who that might be. Currently, it's just Phil, Brendan Steele, and Cameron Tringali. So there's going to be a player announcement tomorrow morning at 10. Any insight into who that might be, Hutch?
Chris Gotterup.
Hey, you want to 180 this thing? Go grab. If they were sitting on it, see whoever wins first, and all right, we're going to throw a shit ton of money at whoever wins the first PGA event.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, it doesn't make sense, because it's the High Flyers. He's the king of the Stinger. It's just kind of doesn't really work out.
I mean, it would be fitting. I mean, based off the way that VJ played this week, man. I mean, bring VJ over.
Hell yeah.
Fellas, one guy that's not listed on the Smash GC currently is Harold Varner III. He was supposed to be going over there, but he is not listed on the roster. So no idea what the holdup is there. I'm not sure if there's a rebrand coming or something like that, but Harold Varner is still on the Live Golf website as a player, but he's not listed under the team, which is weird. So we'll just continue to monitor that. We did get some quotes this past week from Rory McIlroy. I know we've talked about Rory extensively on this show. Saying, quote, "They haven't signed any," this is via the Telegraph, "they haven't signed anyone who moves the needle, and I don't think they will. I mean, they could re-sign Bryson for hundreds of millions of dollars, but even if they do, it doesn't change their product, does it? They'll just be paying for the exact same thing, and they've lost Brooks, so they'll be paying out all this money." He said regarding Brooks' return to the tour, "This is great as it gets Brooks back to where he belongs. He is one of the best players in the world, and anything that makes the traditional tour stronger is a good thing in my book." So, I mean, of course, pretty standard answer from Rory McIlroy. Take any shot he can at Live Golf. I mean, makes complete sense given the position that he's in. Another reaction we had to Brooks' return was Wyndham Clark, who doesn't exactly seem thrilled about Brooks returning. First part of his quote, "I personally," this is on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. He said, "I personally really like Brooks, and I think it's ultimately really good for the PGA Tour, but also it's kind of frustrating that he's able to get the cake and also eat it. So I'm very torn." And then this was the big quote. "If you would have told me that I could have gone for a year and a half, make a boatload of money, and then be able to come back and play on the tour, I think almost everyone would have done that." Ryan, what do you make of Wyndham Clark? Is this a guy that just can't get out of his own way with his comments? Or does he have some validity to his statement here?
I mean, I think Wyndham is speaking for a lot of guys on tour, to be honest with you. Like, hey, if we realized that we could go and sign 40, 50, 60, $100 million and there would be a pathway back. Now, obviously, it would have to fit into those parameters that the tour laid out. So those are very, very strict parameters. So he has to kind of, I don't remember exactly when he won, but he might would have fit in that, when he won the U.S. Open out in L.A., he might have fit that mold. But I mean, I think he speaks. I mean, I think he speaks to what a lot of the guys are thinking, but at the same time, I mean, I never hear just a ton of positivity coming from anything that Wyndham puts out, and so I think that's the thing that like I'm yearning for is like, man, you are a top player in the game. You've won a major. Like, maybe let's just focus on the positives and getting better. And I know he had a bad year this year, so maybe part of it's that. And then just going back to like the Rory thing, the Rory comments on it too. I mean, he talks as much about Liv as Wyndham talks negative, right? Like he just talks. But what Rory is saying is not factually untrue. It's just the messenger, and it's just the repetitiveness of him saying, well, of course, if they got Bryson, it's not going to improve the tour. They're not going to gain. I kind of think he's right. I don't know that they are going to poach another like needle mover per se. And I don't think that it's going to change the tour. Again, it goes back to the nitty gritty that me and Hutch spoke about the points and all that stuff. Like that's how the tour changes. But I don't think he's speaking in falsehoods. I think he's telling the truth. It's just Rory fatigue. Let's be honest.
Yes. That I couldn't have said it any better. That's literally exactly what it is. I mean, he just has talked ad nauseum about it, and it's just like, okay, we get it. We know how you feel about it. We got it. And he just needs to give it a break at some point. But again, to your point, Ryan, he's not wrong. Like there is nobody big to go sign right now. There's just not, because the guys that would move the needle have drawn their feet so hard into the sand that they're not going. And Rory's one of those guys. If they could pop up and get him, then that'd change some things, but that's just not going to happen.
Well, there's validity what Wyndham's saying in terms of, I think that's how most of the players on the tour feel in the back of their heads. But with a guy like Brooks, I mean, it takes him to come in and as long as he doesn't cause any issues, he's going to be competitive in some events. I think he's going to kind of mold right back into the swing of things. And regardless of how you feel, it is what it is. You're not going to reap any benefits by complaining about it unless you're Wyndham Clark and, watch out for any locker room this season that's got you know, he shares a lot of sentiment, I'm sure, throughout the season, or at least in the first quarter. Like a lot of players in interviews will be asked this question, and I think it's, again, it would be very mirrored. It's, would it have been nice, like if with, knowing now what played out, would have been nice to be able to go jump ship and, get some free money and come back and everything's all happy and nothing really bad happened. That'd be great, but that's not the reality of things. And the real competitors are going to go probably say, hey, it is what it is. We're going to go play golf, and, a better product for the PGA Tour is better for all of us. So we welcome Brooks back with open arms. It's going to be a very, very political answer, probably.
But that's the reality of life, is that there's not everybody plays by the same set of rules. And he's got to understand that Brooks has a certain stature in the game as a 5-time major champion that allows him to do things that people like Wyndham probably can't do.
Right. We also had some comments from 82-time PGA Tour champion Tiger Woods on Brooks Koepka's return. Speaking at last week's TGL matchup, he said, "It's incredible for the tour and for the fans who want to see the best play against the best. We worked through Christmas with both boards to make sure this was right." Tiger was very supportive of the move. I mean, no surprise at all. They're bringing Brooks back. We've mentioned it on this show many times before. Brooks was never disliked by any of the guys at the tour. They were all ready, and I think it's been known for a long time that Brooks is going to come back, right? So it's not like they just were thinking about this for a week. I mean, they are probably looking at the prospect of this return for months on end. If what's been reported is accurate about Brooks not being satisfied on Live Golf, no surprise that they're welcoming him back with open arms, and it's just a huge win for the tour overall to get a guy like that back. Fellas, and we also did hear Tiger mention that he's progressed to short irons and mid irons, he said, at TGL. So who knows? I mean, we could be a few months away still from a return, but positive signs. He was also chipping at TGL and fully engaged with the match as well. He was like right on the green in there, throwing flags and doing whatever he does. And I think he'll probably be at the match tomorrow as well with LAGC and Jupiter Links. So that'll be good to see. Fellas, Vijay Singh, what a week he had. T40 at the Sony Open, 62 years old. He's playing on a career money list exemption for 2026. Lots of people were giving their opinions when this news came out that, oh, he's taken up a spot and whatnot. The reality is this guy's won, I think, 34 times on the PGA Tour. Made the cut at the Sony, finished at 5 under par. Ryan, this seems like a situation where Vijay Singh, if he wants to take advantage of this exemption, go on ahead. He can only use it for one season in his career. He's decided to use it this year. I mean, if he plays like he plays this week, I mean, we could expect to see some good finishes out of him. I don't know if he's going to contend or anything, but he played some solid, steady golf over the 4 days in Hawaii, didn't he?
He did, man. And I mean, I just remember those VJ Tiger days, and it just took me back to see him out there, man. He would have won so many more majors if Tiger Woods didn't exist. It's unbelievable. And the fact that he can go out there and compete and that he can still do it, because VJ's had a lot of injuries over the last several years, right? And I did see him post on X something about a new trainer that he's working with and about how he's feeling better than he's ever felt in a very long time. And so maybe he kind of knows that this could just be a rainbow shot, right? Like, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to play because I'm feeling the best I can right now, because the body does break down, let's be honest, as you get older. I was super impressed with VJ, the way he played, the way he kept up with those guys. And I would think that he would use it as many times as he's allowed. And the exemption is there for the reason, right? Like, we talk about sponsors exemptions all the time, and everybody gets pissed about this, that, or the other. The Jordan Spieth, the Ricky Fowler. I'm like, these guys have done so much for the game. VJ has been an integral part of this game for so long. So use the exemption, and good on you, man. Keep playing well.
The exemption's not given; it's earned. I mean, so that's the thing. Like there was a time where he was number one in the world. I mean, he's earned this throughout his career. So and I thought it was cool too to see him. We did hear a lot of the complaints that he was taking somebody's spot and all this stuff, old guy, blah, 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 blah. But for him to go out and make the cut, he just kind of said, shh, be quiet. Like, I'm here. I'm going to play well. You guys respectfully shut the fuck up. I earned this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've earned this. So that's good for him. I mean, good for him, dude. I do think it's kind of weird that it coincides with Tiger's first year on the Champions Tour. Just saying.
Oh, Dallas, speaking of the Champions Tour, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but Michael Block said that he would be willing to go toe-to-toe with Tiger on the Champions Tour. He said, quote, I think he said it would be
ridiculous.
I think he said it would be like a dream come true or something like that.
He said he had dreamed of going toe-to-toe with Tiger down the stretch on a Sunday.
Welcome to every single person that's ever touched a golf club in their entire life.
Yeah.
So really nice.
I was like,
Michael Block is turning 50 in June. So that's something to keep an eye on. Fellas, will you believe that Greg Norman said that he is loyal to the PGA Tour? I don't know if you guys believe that for a second, but went on the Big Swing with Jimmy Roberts podcast. He said, quote, believe it or not, I'm still loyal to the PGA Tour because I'm a lifetime member of the PGA Tour. So this notion that I hate the PGA Tour is not true. The true factor is that I respect, I'm loyal, and I do love the fact that I'm a lifetime member of the PGA Tour. I love the fact that I've helped the PGA Tour to some degree because of Live Golf elevated itself. Ryan, what's your reaction to that? Is Greg Norman this PGA Tour loyalist that we should be clapping our hands for his efforts on the tour?
The key word there, and again, this, like, I like to work in facts. Everything he said is fairly factually true, but you throw me off when you start with the word loyalty, because I think he's all those other things, but I don't think he's loyal to the PGA Tour. Nothing that he's done has said he's loyal. It doesn't mean he hates the PGA Tour. I agree with him on that. I don't think he does. I think he's been trying to grow a world tour for how many years, Hutch? I don't know how many, whenever he started that back.
Well, he's done it twice. I mean,
he's done a ton of times, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't speak to loyalty to me. He's loyal to the game of golf. I believe that, but I don't think he's loyal to the PGA Tour.
He did sort of, in a roundabout way, force the PGA Tour to adapt and get better just by his association with Live. I mean, at the beginning of Live, his association with it gave it a little bit of relevance or credibility. Just his association, he certainly was integral in recruiting some players like Phil, who ultimately Phil was responsible for recruiting a lot of the guys. But I mean, again, like, he kind of is skirting around the truth. Like, there's factual basis in what he's saying, but you're right again, Ryan. Like, the loyalty thing is just kind of questionable, because as we mentioned, he did try to start a Renegade Tour twice. He did actually do it once. I mean, so it's just iffy.
He's making it sound like that was his intention all along. He was like, no, you know what? Makes a lot more sense. Instead of integrating into the PGA Tour and helping make decisions, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a rival league, talk shit on the PGA Tour for a while, all just so that they will go back and fix a couple things that make the tour a little bit better. I mean, like, hell of a spin zone. I love the reach, but it's awfully coincidental timing. Just happened to kind of get cozy up with the PGA Tour. Like, I get it. You're kind of in your corner and you have to do what you got to do. But yeah, a little bit of a spin zone. I mean, he's not wrong, but the way you frame it makes it sound like, no, I never said any of that stuff. Like, I've loved the PGA Tour all along, dude. Like, I'm good. We're best friends. We're good.
It's kind of as if he thinks that we all have amnesia. Like, we don't have amnesia over the last several years. Like, we do know, you know.
You have to respect the confidence for him to even say it like that. Like, he full-chested believes that, and that's bizarre. But I mean, you got to respect the confidence.
Oh, one thing Greg Norman has never lacked is confidence. Let's be honest. Like, I applaud him in that category for sure. I just, hey, we're gonna start a rival league, a rival tour. We're gonna poach, 5 big names from you, but I'm loyal as hell to the PGA Tour. It's the loyalty word that trips me up on that, because a lot of the other things he says is actually factual.
Greg Norman is a 20-time PGA Tour winner. two-time major champion. He won the Open Championship twice. He also has 14 DP World Tour wins, 2 wins in Japan, and 33 wins on the PGA Tour of Australasia. Well, we've talked a lot recently about potential guys that could be moving back to the PGA Tour, in the coming year. Obviously, Brooks back, Reed talking about a potential path back. One guy that will not be coming back anytime soon is Dustin Johnson. Just announced 3-year contract extension with Live Golf through 2029. Telling today's golfer in an exclusive today, quote, "I still want to compete. I still feel like my game is good enough to get back to the top of golf. I still feel like I'm good enough to do that. Once that goes away, that's when I'll stop," referring to retirement, because you guys might remember a year or so ago, he said he had about 5 years left. And then after that, he was going to go fishing. Quote, "If I play well, I think I'll get into them." Quote, the majors. He says, "I want to play and compete. I still feel like I'm good enough to compete with the best." Obviously, DJ's fallen in the world rankings. He's number 639 now. I know a lot of the comments, the word washed comes to mind. What do you guys make of DJ's comments? Do you think that he can actually return to the top of golf like he said? Or is this just a pipe dream from the newly extended Live golfer? Ryan? Ryan, can you hear us?
Sorry.
Or Hutch?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think
I was about to just go.
it kind of feels like to me that like it's so different than what we saw him on like the YouTube episode with Phil and Grant and all that. It's like he was kind of talking about like, if I'm still playing golf in 5 years, or if I'm still playing golf in however many years, it's like
10 years.
I've done something wrong or whatever. So it's inspiring to see, because I am a huge DJ fan. Like, I hope he believes in exactly what he is saying, because I do think he just has the raw talent to just be able to just pick up the game and play well whenever he wants. But it is a little bit of a change in course, and at least the narrative around DJ, because everybody that I talk to in the game of golf, and you guys, like, they kind of think he's checked out. But I mean, hey, if he's not, and he actually believes that he can do this, then I really hope he does.
I mean, he can get back to it. He's certainly got the ability to do it. He can pop up at any of these majors and win. Like, I don't think anybody doubts that he's got the ability to do that. He's seen it a couple times on Live last year. I mean, he had 2 top 5 finishes. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 top 10 finishes on Live last year. There were some horrendous finishes in there for sure, but there are some times where he actually showed up and played pretty well. The majors are kind of an issue. He missed 3 cuts last year, but he did get T23 at the Open. I mean, it's in there. Now, is he ever going to get back to like world number 1? Hell no. There's no way. I mean, he's so far down, and I think we all agree that while Liv is going to get world rankings points, they're going to be reduced. So there's no way for him to make up the gap, right? Like, he just can't do it. He's now signed to Live through 2029. I think he is, and we've said it before on here, he's the prototypical guy that fits perfectly with Liv. He actually, he's the one guy that I really believe when I hear him say, I really like the reduced schedule. I like playing 14 times a year, blah, 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 blah. Like, I believe that he is just relaxed and chill. And I think that's all he wants to do.
Well, that's what I was about to get at, is he's, awfully consistent. You hit the nail on the head when this whole Live thing went down, and he kind of explained where he wants to be and what he wants to do. Like, that's clearly still his vision. He really hasn't changed up on that much. I understand. And I'm not saying he's not trying to be competitive or that he's kind of out of it, Ryan, like you were saying some people allude to, but I think he's comfortable. Like, I think he wants to perform on the world scale and be prominent, mainly in majors when he has the opportunity to, but I don't think he's chomping at the bit so hard like Brooks is that he's contemplating a return, to the PGA Tour, even if given the opportunity, because he wants to grind it out that hard. I think he's fully comfortable where he is. He's been confident on that all along. He knows he's going to go contend when he wants to and when he can. And, if he goes and squeezes out a major, or, goes on an insane run and gets some sort of, real growth back, that's great. But I think he's comfortable where he's at. And again, I 100% when I think of Liv, it's just like DJ wants to kind of play in some shorts. He probably wasn't super stoked about 4 rounds. He was probably like really cool with 3. keeping it pretty lax. I'm still a good golfer. I'll go whoop everybody's ass, but wants to keep it super laid back. And it's just like, if he gets good and goes on a run, so be it.
I don't think it's going to surprise anybody if this is his last contract. Like if he doesn't just walk away from golf altogether, aside from maybe whatever majors he's exempt to at that point. But that might be just it. He might just walk away after this contract.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I could see this kind of being the last kind of major, appearances. And then after that, tee it up at Augusta and wherever else, if qualified. One other note on Bryson DeChambeau, Bob Herrig reported that Bryson has already scouted Augusta. Apparently took a January 3rd scouting trip to the Masters tournament site ahead of this year's tournament. He also played it back in October or September, I believe. I think October. He said he played with a buddy there. That time was just for fun. This 2 weeks ago when he went, it was for actual scouting. He did have his caddy there as well, who was getting yardages and whatnot, but he used the local caddy as you're required to do when you go to Augusta during a non-tournament week. Today, fellas, the first batch of WTGL golfers have been announced. This is for the first inaugural season of the Women's TGL Golf League. Lexi Thompson, Brooke Henderson, Charlie Hull, Lydia Ko, and Gino Tidico have all been announced as being the 5 inaugural players who are going to be teeing it up in that league. Just really quickly, guys, what do you make of the WTGL? I know we got into it previously. Do you see this being a good step for the growth of the women's game?
I do.
Ryan?
Yeah, I do. I think it's just the more exposure you can give to the women's game, and especially in an environment like this where maybe you get to see a little bit excuse me, a little bit more of their personalities. Potentially, like I loved last week, when Tiger was on there, it seemed like there was more mic'd up. You could hear more. And if they integrate that, which I'm sure they will, into the WTGL, you'll get to know them a little bit better, get to see how they interact with each other. Because we don't get to see a lot. You just don't get to hear, first of all, the coverage of the women's game is not near what I think it should be. And second of all, that just doesn't allow you to get to know them. So I think anything like this is good. And again, I think we all spoke to it. I think last week, I hope it moves into a co-ed type situation.
Yeah, I don't know that this is necessarily like it's not a reflection of the players. I just don't think the league is going to necessarily move the needle until you see the ratings for the TGL struggling, right? Like it is what it is. Yeah. I think the best chance for the women's side of the TGL is that they get into, like you're saying, Ryan, like a co-ed where they just kind of commingle and integrate everybody together. And I think that would be the perfect situation for it. But we're probably 4-ish years away from that at the earliest, I would say.
You think so? Mixing them?
They got to add more teams. They got to start the women's league first. They got to give the women's league at least 1 year.
Well, that's why I was confused. I just feel like it's such a quick move for TGL that's already trying to even just grow a consistent, steady base to throw that in there. So you would assume that it'd just be more like a culmination to try to make them both grow. And then if that succeeds, you can branch them out. But it would seem weird to expect that TGL will remain growing for 5 years and then already have – I mean, all this might just be like very foundational stuff. And for now with, the ladies they have in it, they'll mix them in and integrate it. But if that's the plan for, a very long-term branching strategy, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting comments from Bubba Watson over this past week. They asked about the move to 72 holes. Obviously, this is the first year that they're going 4 days of 18-hole competition for 72 holes. Sounds like Bubba's not thrilled with that decision. I think he was resigned to the fact that he was happy doing 54. Asked if he's in favor of the move, he said, quote, "No, I think we should go 3 days. And there's a reason why. In a sprint, everyone stays together. With 4 days, you have more spread out leaders. Just kind of takes away your last round. Better for the fans when there's more separation," or something like that. So I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Bubba obviously liked working the 3 days a week. And I think maybe he's a little disappointed that he's got an extra day in there. What do you guys think?
I'd be pissed too.
Mhm.
I leave my company and go to another one that does 4 days a week work cycle, and 2 weeks in, they're like, you know what? We're going to ramp it up to 5. I agree with this too. I mean, I'm getting a good pay increase, but I'd still be a little annoyed that I was like, was this not kind of the selling point here, or at least one of them?
In my personal, like, these guys are live rankings, Bubba's like right behind DJ. Like, just
Yes.
take it light, take it easy, like just trying to coast into retirement or whatever. No, this isn't surprising. I understand the concept of what he's saying. Like, it makes sense logically if you didn't see all these tournaments throughout the PGA Tour season with 4 rounds that are coming right down to the wire. Like, I get it. There's a better chance that everybody's still bundled in together with less total holes, but in theory that works. In reality, most of the time it doesn't. I mean, there's been runaway live winners. There's been runaway PGA Tour winners. There's been PGA Tour tournaments that come down to the last hole. You see that at least a handful of times every year. So it's just, I don't know. I think it's just Bubba being Bubba. He's always been a little quirky.
Yeah, he has, and I think let's be honest, this isn't much more than Bubba likes to play golf 3 days a week in his tournaments, and he knows he gets to play the Masters every year. Like, let's be honest, he had the best schedule ever. Like, going to 72 holes is like more work for him, and I don't think they gave him a pay increase for that extra day. So I mean, I get it. He had a perfect schedule.
While we're on the subject of live, couple quick hits here. Ben On was announced as the new captain of the Korean Golf Club. He's a 2-time DP World Tour winner. And I guess the rumors about there being drama inside the Ironheads were true because they've had a rebrand, and they've also lost Kevin Na. As we discussed on the last show, Kevin Na is no longer involved with the Live Golf League whatsoever. He's left Live. A thank you post went out on their social media channels. Hutch, you're a big Live guy. Are you going to miss Kevin Na out there, or where are you looking for Kevin Na to continue his career? He's only like 40 or 42 years old, I believe.
Well, I mean, he doesn't qualify for the return to play program. That's for damn sure. So,
we're a long way away
Tour.
from him. We're a long way away from him running to pick that ball out of the hole with Tiger, aren't we?
God, that's got to be the peak too. I just
That's
remember all the good times with Kevin Na. Him making like a 16 out of the woods. I don't even remember what tournament that was. It was somewhere out west. But like, yeah, no, I don't know where we're going to see him. Where can he even play? The Asian Tour?
Maybe.
DP World Tour?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, my only 2 memories of Kevin Na is the huge number, whether it was the 16 or the 18 that he made or whatever it was, and the race to get the ball out of the hole in 17th green at Sawgrass, like with playing with Tiger. Like, those are my 2 memories of Kevin Na. Like, I mean, he's just not a big name, but hopefully he finds a place to play. I mean, if he still wants to play, because I think he's a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Live Golf executives say there has been some interest in minority ownership in some Live teams. According to Front Office Sports, the goal is to create 13 $1 billion franchises. So not sure how far along we are with that. I mean, if you guys were to give a value to any of these franchises, I mean, even the top franchises, obviously the Crushers and probably Legion 13, solely because of Rahm and Bryson.
It's good to have goals.
Hutch, what would you value these teams at? And do you think that with these sponsorships that they're getting and whatnot, do they even touch anywhere close to 9 figures?
No, I don't think so. But it is good to have goals. I mean, we're thinking big. You kind of shoot for the stars, aim for the moon kind of thing. Like, we used to sing a song in elementary school called Big, Big Dreams. And I think that would qualify for this. Because the reality is, I mean, like, Reebok's not touching Crushers if it's not for Bryson. Callaway, they may or may not sponsor, but they probably are not putting their logo on anything if it's not for Rahm. Like, it's driven by the captains, and realistically, there's 2 teams with really marketable players. a third, arguably, with DJ. Phil's marketability is down from its peak when he was dancing and doing high kicks from Mizzen and Maine like 10 years ago or whatever he was doing. Like, so I mean, it's got to be, you've got to get more personalities out there if you want to touch $1 billion. But even Bryson's not touching $1 billion, so I just don't see the pathway right now.
That was gonna be my thing. I think Bryson has a better chance of getting $1 billion than they get $1 billion
himself.
For those franchises, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't see the model. Like there's been nothing put out there that says that these are super investable and that there's gonna be a ton of people racing to do that. So again, that's not a live knock. It's just a concept knock. I just can't see where you're gonna get to these $1 billion franchises.
Well,
it would be like saying a TGL team could be worth $1 billion, and I don't see that either. Like it's just
TGL teams are reportedly worth somewhere in the neighborhood of like $30 to $75 million, depending on the team, is what I've heard. Josh Carpenter's done some reporting on that previously. We do know Bubba Watson indicated that the Range Goats Golf Club was having some initial discussions with potential minority investors. I mean, I have no idea what a Range Goats Golf Club would be worth at this point in time. I mean, I guess we'll just kind of see how these progress, and if we hear anything more about potential ownership coming on board. I mean, there has been rumors of Live Golf, the league, potentially bringing in private equity. I've heard that on a couple of the live centric podcasts, but I mean, at this point, nothing confirmed, right?
There are some things though that TGL did that I think Live could really benefit from. Like you see TGL out here, particularly like, I don't know if it's LAGC that announced like Good was a minority investor, and Serena Williams and all these people. Like these are all things that Live should be doing. Like whenever they get a minority investor, they need to announce it. They need to make it loud and proud and known, like, hey, this person believes in us or whatever. And I don't know what that looks like. I mean, maybe you get some big company that's associated on the other side of the PIF, like maybe a TKO group, a UFC type deal where there can be some commingling of the portfolio. Maybe that helps a little bit, but I don't know a good way to get to $1 billion valuation for even the league. I mean, honestly,
for individual teams, I just looked it up. The Miami Marlins are worth like 1.2 on the low end. So if you think you're going to make up 13 teams of slightly worse than the Miami Marlins, and like how large that front office, and I get it, different sport, different scalability, but no, like that's so far out from, again, Hutch, you're right. Goals, they're great. I mean, you got to have an orientation somewhere. But that's really, really far north. You might want to like bring it back just a little. Dial it in. You got to be realistic.
We even had a dance to go with the Big Dream song. It was like you did that whole number. It was wild. I mean, it's just all I can think of for this. It's just such a huge dream that doesn't seem realistic.
I will say,
don't get it.
I'm going to tie myself in with Liv. I'd like to be the 14th solo team worth $1 billion.
Hell
I'm going to shoot for that goal too. I love that.
Ryan,
we are a $1 billion podcast.
Yeah.
Girls.
Ryan, super quick. Your guy, Justin Thomas, is now taking full swings. Posted a video over the weekend, hitting some wedge shots, it looked like. What do you make of that? And when do you think we could potentially see JT make a return?
I was very surprised, and I messaged, I know I asked Hutch about that because he had basically the exact same surgery, and I was asking if this was normal. Was very surprised to see him. It was a very smooth wedge swing. I get it. He was only swinging at maybe 60, 70%, it looked like, with a wedge, but was very surprised. I didn't expect to see that this soon. But again, I don't have any medical knowledge of the progressions of when you can do what. So Hutch can speak better to that. But based off of what I was looking at, like I've had several followers ask, like, when do I think I'll see him? And I've been very upfront, like, it's hard for me to see him before the Masters. But then after that, it's like, okay, well, if I'll back it down, look at the schedule, and Hutch can absolutely correct me here and tell me that I'm crazy, but I was like, well, maybe he could actually make the Players this year. Maybe that would be his first start.
It's,
I,
it's
I don't know.
possible.
I don't know if that's too soon or not, because I don't know the progression from the wedge to the full wedge to the full long iron and that kind of a deal. And obviously he's not going to be swinging at 120 miles an hour, 115 miles an hour with a driver. So hoping for the Players at this point now. That's kind of my optimistic goal.
He just, I think when we talked about it, that swing was not violent at all. There's no sudden jolt, no sudden twist or anything like that. Just all things that you have to be very conscious and careful of during the early stages of recovery from that surgery. No sudden turns, no sudden twists, anything like that. It just looked like it was very much a progression of where he's going, but he's got a long way to go.
Ryan, it was a microdiscectomy, right?
I think so. Isn't that what you had as well, Hutch? Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but I know, I mean, Hutch, you know more than me, but I do remember when Tiger had his first micro. I mean, the return timeline was just ridiculous. I mean, he had the surgery. He had the surgery in April, and then he was playing Quicken Loans in July, right? Was it July he played Quickens, or June?
I think it was June or July. Like it was right out of 3 months.
Yeah, because we were thinking, oh, maybe he'll be back for the Open, and that was a big maybe. And then he played prior to that. He played the Quicken Loans. I remember it was at Isleworth. It was the last year that the Quickens was at Isleworth. So that was interesting. But Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised if he's back before the Players, to be honest. I think from where he is right now, the timeline accelerates quickly. From the time that you're cleared to fully rotate, he's going to be into longer clubs within weeks, I believe. So we'll see. I mean, obviously speed is a big factor. If you're not able to go full bore at it, you're nowhere near being able to return to the PGA Tour. But I could see him being a couple months out. I think he could be back for Augusta.
I mean, the only thing that I would caution is that, and the surgeon told me very specifically that those first 8 to 10 weeks are so crucial because that's the biggest window you've got to re-injure it, because you're still waiting on kind of that protective coating to heal back to where another part of the disc can't bulge out. So he's just got to be super, super, super careful. And I think they're all aware of that. They've got top-notch, top shelf, like top of the line physical therapists and everybody there helping him. He'll be back as soon as he can, but he's not going to push it because you don't want to mess with your back. I think him being buddies with Tiger, he's learned that.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is I've mentioned to some of the folks asking me, it's like I think he's getting like maybe the best advice ever from his best buddy, right? Like Tiger can give him all the things of not to do, what to do, how to not rush back. It's not gonna satisfy the itch that he has to get back, but at the same time, like I don't think he's at a point in his career to where he's like, hey, you know what? I could probably screw this up and then do this a couple more times. Like I don't think that's the mindset that he's in. And I think he just needs to take this slow. Like I am totally good with a long drawn out process with this because I don't want to see him injure himself. And you got to think too, it's all dependent upon the individual and the way that they swing the golf club. JT does not have this fluid swing. Like he's not a Phil Mickelson or a Freddie Couples. Like JT has a very upright, and then with a driver swing, a fairly violent swing. So if he's going to swing like JT, then this is not going to be the same type recovery as a Freddie move. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's the way that visually I see it.
You're right. And nobody who's ever had back surgery dreams about having another back surgery. I can tell you that. So he's going to take it as light as he can.
All right. Amex Championship Week. PGA Tour returns to La Quinta, California. Scotty Scheffler's making his return, Joey, this week. Pretty loaded field. I've heard this is the strongest field at the Amex in several years. Wyndham Clark, Matt Fitzpatrick, Brian Harmon, Sam Burns, Russell Henley, Ludwig Aubert, Cantlay, English, Griffin, Straka, Fina, Homa, Thigala, Day, Tom Kim, Minwoo Lee. I mean, just Michael Block. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's got a sponsor's exemption into this one. Actually, he's the PGA section champion. However, that qualifies for criteria to get into this event. Blades Brown is playing on a sponsor's exemption. Now, one guy that will be making his PGA Tour return has not played on the PGA Tour since last May. Did play this fall over in South Africa. It's Will Zalatoris returning to the PGA Tour. I don't believe he's played before the event in South Africa. I don't think he had played since the PGA Championship last May. So it's been a long time coming for Will Zalatoris. He's on a medical exemption. Any expectations for him, Ryan? It's just kind of sad to see the fall off of Will Zalatoris, obviously with back issues and whatnot. There was rumors back when Liv came about that he was offered like $100 million to go over there, turn that down. What do you think of Will Zalatoris? Do you think he can, still so young? Do you think he can get back to form? Because obviously was a huge challenge just a few years ago and still is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all in the way that he heals. I mean, I was at that PGA. I saw when he went down on the seventh fairway. I was standing right there. He went straight to his knees, and I just knew it was like. And then it was just announced right after that he was having the surgery. So, so glad to have him back. I love Willie Z. I love watching him play. But I think he's just one of those guys. He has a very unique golf swing. And he's a guy that is just, his golf swing puts a ton of strain on his back, more so than other type guys. So, I'm not a pessimist, so I don't want to say this is probably going to keep happening, but I do think if he can heal the correct way and get the right therapy and get the right training, and maybe he does have to adjust his golf swing a little bit, then he can prosper. But I do love having Willie Z back.
Yeah, I think everyone feels that way. I don't know anybody that feels negative about him. So, I mean, obviously, in terms of health, no matter what, everyone wishes that he's able to recover and not go down that terrible path of just continuously injuring the back and just the injuries. Nobody wants him to get injured. So, I mean, regardless, yeah, I mean, I hope he's able to play healthy, ease back into it. Obviously, I don't think there's a lot of expectations at first. It's going to be a learning curve getting back into it, but I would love to see him in contention in a major at some point this year. Not even in contention, just, I mean, God, like
just be there.
Yeah. And then, give it a couple of years and be back in the circle for at least having an opportunity to do something. I don't know. I think he's good on the world scale and world stage. I mean, and I think it's where he needs to be.
So how many does Scotty win by this week, Joey?
At least 7 strokes.
If it was 3 rounds, it'd be less.
Right. It'd be a lot tighter because, 3 rounds usually. Moving day,
We're just about finished for this week, fellas, but one last question I have for you all is our discussion of the week. And this week's question is, how far in advance do you normally show up to the golf course before your tee time? Joey, start with you.
How early do I show up, or how early do I think people should show up? Because I feel like
you
nowadays, dude, I'm rolling in there on 2 wheels. Like, I hate it because I hate that person usually. But a lot of my rounds are like right after work in the summer when you barely, I mean, you're playing with daylight anyway. Even on a weekend round, I mean, I'd like to get there earlier, but honestly, my game nowadays, like I'm shaving maybe 2 strokes off that game. And honestly, I'm at this point enjoying first tee cold turkey and just ripping it. So honestly,
give me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Give me tee times at 11:13. I don't want to be there before 11:07. That's just
wow.
I'm uncomfortable.
As much as I enjoy the cold turkey first tee, once your back starts to go bad, you can't do that anymore. So
well, yeah.
I have to get there like at least 30 minutes early so I can warm up, or I'm not going to be able to go.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the 30 to 45 minute range. Like, that's a preference. I'm not saying that always happens, because sometimes I am rolling in at that 11:13 tee time. I'm rolling in right at 11. Not the 11:07. I'm not quite chancing it that much, but I mean, I do like to at least swat a few putts, and then if I'm getting there the full 30 to 45 minutes, I mean, I just want to hit like 20 balls. Like, I don't want to hit 100 balls. I just want to hit like 20 balls. Just be able to compress a few irons, hit a few drivers, and then roll a few putts. Like, that's all I want to do. That's my goal. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen.
Joey,
John, when you get there,
if I'm showing up like 5 minutes before tea time, I'm not going to play well. It's just, it's not even necessarily the fact that I wouldn't be getting any warm up in. It's just the rush and the anxiety of getting from the car to the first tee, checking in, paying, you're running around. I'm just not going to play well. It's not setting yourself up for a successful round. Now, if the course I'm playing has a driving range, I'm thinking like 45 to 50 minutes. I'm with you, Ryan. I like to hit like 20, 25 balls, not more than that. But if I'm just heading for a standard round of golf with only a putting green and chipping, probably 30, 35 minutes is a good kind of time frame for me. But yeah, maybe 20, like at least 20 minutes prior to a round, I'm showing up. You just never know what could occur before the round. So yeah, I don't like to stress myself out with 5 minutes. I can tell you that.
Like that rush. What was that, Rory? What tournament was Rory like coming in?
Oh, the Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup. That's how he met his wife.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like the rush. I'm sick. I'm twisted. You know, I like to. That's how you get your heart rate. I don't need the range when I'm running, sprinting, putting half a shoe on. You know,
John, how much do you hate playing with people like Joey?
Yeah.
I don't mind people like Joey, but well, someone like Joey would be the type that, you know, you get up to the first tee, you're up there, you think you're heading out with your buddy, it's just you and your buddy, and then the starter says, "Oh, actually this single is going to join you guys. Is that all right?" That's Joey.
Okay, in fairness, I'm talking about, because at this point nowadays I'm just playing like shit rounds with friends and colleagues. So it's, if I'm going to go out to a club and play with my brother, or like maybe some, especially like a work event, or I'm, you know, something formal, I'm definitely getting there early. We're getting a full routine. But nowadays we're just casual rounds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be that asshole. But I'm going to play.
I will tell you my best round ever. I did not hit a putt, and I did not hit a golf ball. Now that's not to say that my second and third and fourth best rounds ever, I was doing all those things, but my best round, I literally did not hit a putt and it was tight. And I actually hit my first tee ball down the middle, so I didn't even have to have a breakfast ball. So
dude, you don't tell anybody about your third best round. You tell everybody about your first best.
You're
round.
right. I don't.
Just saying.
All right, fellas, great show tonight. We touched on a lot. It's been a busy week in golf. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys' support week in, week out. As always, you can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. I think we're going to be going live on X for much of this season, so we'll be right here. You can also find us on YouTube. We upload the entire show after the fact, trying to get some more clips out from each show as well. And be sure to stay tuned. We've got some really exciting guests that are going to be coming on board here in the next coming weeks and months for the rest of this season. Some household names that you guys will be familiar with. And, you know, we really hope to take this podcast to the next level. We hope that all of you guys will be on board for that journey as we continue to grow it. It's been a great show, guys. As always, we appreciate you guys for your support. Be sure to subscribe on wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you next Monday for the next edition of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. Until then, signing off. Have a great week, everyone. Later.